Well, the sun has just started to come out now in the garden, and I wanted to take a look round today and see what's done well in the garden in 2024. It's October now, mid-October, and I wanted to have a little look around the garden before the weather gets too bad here in South Wales and see what's done well this year. Well, I think we'll start off by looking at some of the Cordylines that I've got in the garden. I've got a few of these, and the two that I've got in the centre are both Cordyline australis. They've both been started off in pots before they were put into the ground about 3 years ago, and both of them have done extremely well since they've been in the ground, much better than they did in pots. The larger one in the centre, which is nearer the house, that one has branched off this year, so it's now got 2 growing points rather than just the one. And it also flowered for the first time in 2024. I was quite surprised, as I didn't really know what it was at first, but it did grow into quite a large flower, but now I've cut that back. The smaller one of the two, that one was originally against the wall, so I moved that out about 2 years ago so it gets a little bit more sunshine where it is now. And since it's been in more sun, it has seemed to have done a lot better. It wasn't doing too well against the wall, as it was rather in a shady spot, but it has grown and put on quite a lot of size, and I think the two of them are quite statement plants in the garden, and hopefully they'll grow to be a lot larger than what they are now. They currently stand at about, I would say, 8-9 foot tall, and I'm so glad that I've got these in the garden, as they do add a really tropical look. The other Cordyline that I've got in the garden is called a Cordyline indivisa. These are native to New Zealand and are also known as the mountain cabbage palm. I've also found out that these are sometimes mislabelled in the stores, and when you buy them as an indivisa, they suddenly grow and they end up being a Cordyline australis. But this one does have the orange patches on the leaves, which is what is found on an indivisa plant. And another way to find out if it is a true indivisa or not is that when it grows, these stay as one stem and they never branch into 2 or more growing points. And this should grow, given the right conditions, up to about 25 foot tall. It's grown really well since it's been in the ground, and I'm really pleased with the progress. But time will tell if this is a proper indivisa or not. I've also added a lot more salvias into the garden this year. This one was new and it's really lasted well in the garden. The Salvia hot lips has been moved around the garden quite a few times. This one is 2 years old now, and it's the best that the flowers have ever been, and it's grown really large outside the greenhouse. I really love the colour on this one though. It's such a deep, vibrant purple, and they're such long-lasting flowers, and they fit into all different types of gardening schemes. The Musa Basjoo hardy bananas have done extremely well this year, and we started off with just 3 of them in the garden. But one of them has decided to give us 4 pups this year, and all of them have done really well. I love seeing these in the garden as they give so much height, and I do protect them over the winter and hopefully retain the height of the stem for next year. The leaves on these are so large and they're such beautiful plants. My favourite plant in the garden is definitely the Euphorbia John Phillips. This was bought as such a small plant and it's now on its second year, and in just 1 year, look at the size that's gone on this plant. Each particular stem is spectacular and it's an absolutely perfect specimen of a plant. I love all different types of Euphorbia in the garden. The difficulty is finding the right area to put them in, but they do seem to like it in strong sunlight, and they do particularly well along the back wall where they get full sun morning and afternoon. And these ones here have really put on a good bit of size this year. They really do seem to enjoy it in their location. Another plant that we bought this year was the Yucca rostrata. Look how small it was when we bought it. We've got ours now planted in a terracotta pot by the back door, and look at the size on it now. We only bought it earlier this year, but it really seems to like it in our garden. Hopefully things will continue to grow and it'll really stay looking good. I'm so pleased with the results this year, but it hasn't had a winter yet. Without a doubt, definitely taking #1 place for size this year is the Tetrapanax. This started out as a tiny stem, and all this growth has been put on in this 1 year's season. I can't believe the amount of size that's gone on this plant for 1 year. If it continues to grow like this, I'll have a huge tree in no time and I'll be able to walk underneath it. I'll be so pleased. It looks wonderful in the garden and really fills up the space. We also have lots of different Fatsia japonicas in the garden, and they are now starting to flower in the early autumn. The leaves on them are beautiful and glossy green, and they really do add lots of interest into the garden. I have about 8 or 9 of these dotted about. And they do look absolutely wonderful, dotted around underneath the palm trees. I've got the spider's web, and I've also got the polycarpa, which is also known as the green fingers. It's also good to use some filler plants in the garden, and for this I tend to use a lot of Persicaria red dragon. These are perennial and they come back every year without fail. I just chop them back at the end of the season, and next year they'll spring up back to life. And these grow really wild in my garden and fill up lots of empty spaces. The colour of them really adds an extra pop to the greens. I also like to use a lot of Crocosmia throughout the garden, and these I find spread throughout the garden and fill in the spaces also. When the flowers die back, we're left with these lovely heads, and they look really good in the garden. Another plant that I use a lot in the garden is the Photinia red robin. This year it's put on lots of size, and the red colour really gives a vibrant contrast against the other plants. It comes in many different variations, and I've got lots of different ones in the garden, but this one is the brightest of them all. We've also seen excellent growth on the bamboo this year. It must be because of all the rainfall that we've had in Wales this summer. And this is a Fatsia rufa. This was put in as quite a small plant and is now about 3 meters across. I use the bamboo throughout the garden, and it really helps to fill in spaces. This one here is a Robusta Campbell, and this one was only put in last year. I love a palm tree in the garden, and this one in particular is my favourite. It's not the biggest, but it's definitely the greenest and the most healthiest of them all. I've got 9 Trachycarpus Photinia, and all of them are different sizes. But this one really is the best looking of them all. I love the way that they add height into the garden, and as the years go by, they will only get better and better. This taller Trachycarpus Photinia was purchased from B&M, and when it was bought it wasn't really in the best condition. But it's definitely done well this year, as it was very yellow in colour when I bought it 2 years ago. So I trimmed back all of the yellow foliage and fed it with some chicken manure pellets and watered it with liquid seaweed, and it's definitely now becoming greener in colour. But hopefully in time it'll continue to grow and look fantastic. The waggy palms are also doing well in my garden. I've got 2 of these, and although they're not really the fastest in growing, but they do add a statement into the garden. This little one here, this is a Mediterranean Dwarf Palm, and it's done well in the garden, but because it's quite small it easily gets overlooked in the garden, but I just leave it to get on with it and it grows nice and steadily. I've been really pleased with the progress this year. As you know, the garden is now 3 years old, and this year, in its 3rd year, is the year that everything seems to have filled out and has really put on some size in the garden, especially the grasses this year. Everything has done really well, as I said, and we haven't had the best of summers. There's been plenty of rainfall here in Wales, but I think this has helped with the overall growth in the garden. So I hope you've enjoyed your visit around the garden with me today, looking at some of the plants that have done well in 2024. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.